Hey guys, it's Halloween 2019. I kind of wanted to do a video detailing kind of my study habits, some things that I do in prep of running through history. So, check out all the books I got. You know, you just go to the library. I've done it 1,000 times. And you pick up some books that all kind of relate to each other, you know? I mean, history is like a spider web. So one thing leads to another. Yeah, it does. So, for instance, in prep of this, I also got, Aliso Viejo history. I also got, well, the Spanish conquests of Mexico. All of these are really relevant to the overall picture of the history of the missions. Even this was kind of cool. I haven't dove into this one just yet, but Lewis and Clark through Indian eyes. So that's a different perspective. A really good one to have from the eyes of the Indians. How did they perceive a lot of the things going on? This one's kind of cool. 50 years in Old El Toro, a family, a time, a place. So that's a lot of history on El Toro. See whatever that brings. It's just good knowledge to know before, during, and after all the missions being created, and that's where you can see maybe why the missions were created, or then the effect that they had. Was it good or bad? So there's an overall picture to be had. It's not just about the missions. This one's really good. The Gabrielinos. So they were a particular tribe around Los Angeles area, and they came in contact with a few of the Spanish navigators, as well as Sir Francis Drake, the English. So they're just a really cool group to understand and what they mean to the missions. This one's a great overall book. You want to get specific books like that that are about whatever you're trying to learn about, big picture wise. Specific books about the Gabrielino, and then overall big books like California. Just everything about it. This goes from the very beginning of Sir Francis Drake. It even talks about the first and second circumnavigation around the world. That doesn't necessarily pertain to California exactly, but it does, because there's a larger picture to be had. And then the next chapters after what I've been reading, which pertain to the missions a lot, kind of the gold rush. And then the next things that happen, and the next thing that happens. I mean, this is a great book. Super, super well written. Laguna Beach. See that? The history of Laguna Beach. So, when you're developing any sort of research projects, kind of also the reason why I like to go on to the library and get books is because if I'm online, it's really easy to get distracted or not finish an article and immediately go into another one and another one. So getting a book kind of keeps you very focused, especially if you just drive on through trying to finish it. And you'll see quite frequently the same things being said a different way. But if you really look into it, sometimes they say it in a different way, and you'll get two conflicting sources. So then, now it's your job as the historian to really figure out which one is more accurate. And it might be just choosing which one would be more accurate based off the knowledge you already know. Or you might have to now go find another book, go find another source, go find another anything that can clarify. So that's what I like to do for my history projects is get a very well-rounded understanding, as well as, hey, you know, when it comes to history, kids' books, they're pretty good too. You know, they aren't as in depth per se, but they do give overall broad strokes of key points that you should definitely understand. That's why they wrote it for kids. They're like, okay, I mean, they're not going to read a novel, but they are going to read these thin books that and we'll give them all the key points. And then so once you learn the key points, you know, major themes, major things to look for when you do go to read a much larger book, you know, this is bigger. And look at all the notes I've got in it, you know, because there's a lot. It goes in far more depth of things that are going on. So, like, yeah, this book will tell you about, you know, particular relationships with the missionaries and Indians that kind of got into fights and skirmishes. And so now you know that. And then this book gives you a really, really detailed analysis of the relationship and why that skirmish occurred and how many people died and just far much more detail involving those same key points. It's just a key point. It's like, yeah, they got in skirmishes. And then you go to your other bigger book that's more in depth, and it tells you all of the different skirmishes and all of the different things involved in it in far more detail. That's all. So that's one study tip, which is to go to the library. You're going to stay more focused. You're going to get a wider level of a wider spectrum of books to be had anyways, from detailed knowledge to key points for kids. So yeah, get out there, study, write. So I'm going to do a little analysis on how I start my writings, you know, all the key points and deeper descriptions and history that I've learned from how I get my sources, and then how I put that into a chronological order, easy to understand, you know, because one of the things with history is like, where do you start? I'll show you how we can start somewhere. So yeah, thanks. Enjoy, guys. Keep studying. History's awesome.